Hi Gemini, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of March 2022. Although we are in the new age of Aquarius, it has felt like a flashback to the epic of Capricorn. And indeed it has been, because at the end of last year, Venus, which is the planet of love, beauty, and what you value, retrograded on December 19th at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And this defaults back to when we were in the epic of Capricorn, in the height in 2020, when the pandemic really broke out. Obviously it was before that, but when lockdown, Saturn got to 26 degrees of Capricorn approximately on March 12th of 2020, and it was going back and forth over that degree through November 4th of 2020. So this brings us back to the real beginning of lockdown and the pandemic, and also Venus met up with Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration, on December 11th, December 25th, and they will meet up a third and final time on March 3rd. And as we begin the month, Venus, Mars, and Pluto are all transiting in Capricorn, in your house of death and renewal, joint resources, finances, taxes, credit, debt. So figuring out how you mourn all of the loss. Mercury retrograded as well earlier in the year on January 14th. It initially retrograded at 10 degrees and 20 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius, setting off where Saturn was in 2021 minus 3 degrees, because Saturn got to 13 degrees of Aquarius on May 23rd last year. And reassessing how you can be more productive in learning and teaching and manifesting hope and manifesting positive belief systems and empowering yourself through optimism, and if you have your own business, finding new ways to promote yourself. And so that has been a big direction. But Mercury re-entered Capricorn on January 24th. It's stationed direct on February 3rd at 24 degrees and 22 minutes of Capricorn, in your house of death and endings and rebirth. And this also set off 2020, because the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that brought down the structures of the world occurred at 22 degrees of Capricorn, and that is the world axis, meaning that impacts each and every one of us. And it also is the degree where Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration, has been transiting the last couple of years. So this has been a heavy reflective tone. There has been a lot of loss since the beginning of December, and a lot of reassessing of how we can get through these difficult blocks. So we begin the month, there's a stellium of planets transiting in Capricorn, in your house of death and renewal and empowerment, healing, trying to find healing in this very sad time. There are a few points transiting in Aquarius. Mercury, the planet of communication, is exalted and brilliant. Saturn, how you structure your goals. And Juno, which is an asteroid that represents partnering, is also transiting in the sign of Aquarius, bringing us future possibility in your house of hope and manifesting and teaching and learning. Planets transiting at the top of your chart in your house of life goals and career. The Sun, Jupiter, and Neptune. Jupiter is the luckiest planet. It is the planet of expansion and is the planet of vision. And it rules Pisces in ancient astrology. So this opens many doors for you in this challenging time. So on March 1st, Venus and Mars are approximately at 26 degrees of Capricorn, within a degree of Pluto. They're setting off where Venus retrograded on December 19th of 21, reassessing this whole really heavy Venus retrograde in Capricorn. On March 1st, the Sun sextiles Uranus at 9:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on March 2nd at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's an innovative energy and good for tapping into brainstorming. On March 2nd, Mercury meets up with Saturn at 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that can feel restrictive, and it may feel that it's hard to tap into hope, but there is a beautiful new moon that occurs at, when does the new moon occur? There is a new moon that occurs on March 3rd at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, going once, going twice, 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 12 degrees and 7 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And this new moon is only within 2 degrees of Jupiter, the luckiest planet, in your house of life goals. Time to set intentions, plant new seeds, manifest whatever your vision is. This is a lovely energy. On March 3rd, there is a big intensity to the day. Mars meets up with Pluto at 3:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that can be very heavy energy. It is in your house of endings, power struggles, and finances. There could be angry energy with that. It's very combative. Those are both the rulers of Scorpio. It can be an empowering energy if you use it in the higher level, but it is heavy and people might be looking for a fight. And then Venus, the planet of love and relationships, meets up with Pluto at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the same sector of your chart. So there could be definite endings and loss with that energy. There could be breakups. There could be reveals potentially, but it is an energy where you want to try to evolve and you want to try to heal yourself. This is about focusing on how you can heal yourself, and that has been the tone really the first few months of the year for you. And tapping into hope, but also facing the wounds and really being honest about what you're dealing with and your limitations financially and in other areas you really need to deal with. And get in therapy and you know, metaphorically or really, you know, literally do something to heal yourself. And on March 5th, there's some really nice energy to work with. The Sun meets up with Jupiter, the luckiest planet, at 9:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of career and life goals. And that's a really nice energy. And then, let's see, then we have Mars changing signs at 10:23 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, entering the fixed air sign of Aquarius in your house of career and life goals, where it will transit until April 14th. Really nice energy. And then there is Venus, the planet of love and beauty, enters Aquarius at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the two lovers meet up in the sky at 11:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and at 2:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 6th at 0 degrees of Aquarius, the very first degree of Aquarius, defaulting back to when Saturn and Jupiter met up to form a new 20-year vision of what you want to structure and manifest in your life goals, in your house of career, but an overall arc of your life. Big deal. And this is a really, really nice initiating energy. Very romantic and creative and lovely. So really work with that. And then on March 9th, Mercury, which is the ruler of your sign, changes signs at 8:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It enters the mutable water sign of Pisces, where it will transit until March 27th in your house of career and life direction. So a lot of focus as you get further in the month with the new moon and with Jupiter and Neptune, a lot of manifesting opportunities and opening new doors. And now Mercury's there, a lot of sales, a lot of promotion and marketing potentially. And then on March 13th, Mercury forms a helpful sextile to Uranus, and this occurs at 8:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is a really nice energy, very innovative and enterprising. And then on March 18th, there is a full moon that takes place at 3:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 27 degrees and 40 minutes of the mutable Earth sign of Virgo. And it is actually a very lovely full moon. It's setting off a fixed star known as Shiat. It's opposing, that's 28 degrees of Pisces. That's a heavy degree. But in the same vein, this full moon has Venus forming a harmonious aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer. And that occurs at 12:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the sun forms a helpful aspect to Pluto, the planet of transformation, at 3:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This full moon does fall in your house of home, family, and real estate. Maybe that you've been trying to buy a house and that goes through. Maybe you've been trying to sell your house. Maybe you have your own business and projects bring fruition. But it is definitely a lot of family focus with this full moon, but a lot of nice energy in the cosmos that day. On March 19th, Venus squares Uranus at 7:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that could bring unexpected twists and turns, and just going with the flow. Whatever you think it is, it might be something else. It could bring potential endings, but it could also just be whatever plans you had, could be something else happens. But then on March 20th, we have the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and that's one of the 2 times of the year when the sun is exactly above the equator, equal day and equal night, signifying renewal and new beginnings. And it is the fall equinox in the northern hemisphere when the leaves start falling, and honoring death and endings and loss, which is a ritual of life and a season of life. And so honoring what the next few months have, doing some kind of ritual to usher in the equinox. And then on March 22nd, Mars squares Uranus at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could bring combative energy. It can be a bit explosive, and just going with the flow with that. On March 23rd, Mercury meets up with Neptune at 1:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Perhaps deception is uncovered. Be extra careful in business dealings that day. On March 27th, Mercury changes signs and enters the cardinal fire sign of Aries at 3:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it'll be transiting there until April 10th in your house of friends and groups and networking. And on March 28th, Neptune, which is transiting in your house of career and life ambition, forms a helpful sextile to the north node of fate, which is transiting in your house of dreams. And this occurs at 9:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is time to work with the dream, let go of the limitations. Venus and Mars are dancing in the sky until April 5th. Jupiter and Neptune are forming a manifesting story as well, which will peak in the middle of April. Good luck, Gemini, and thank you.